Hey everyone, welcome to another lane review. So today we're going to be doing Syndra versus Fizz, and this is a matchup that a lot of you guys struggle with. So what I want to do is kind of break down the overarching concept so you can apply it to your own games. So first of all, let's dive into the runes. So as Syndra, what you really want to take is Electrocute, and the reason being is that because you're versing Fizz, who's a melee champion, and you outrange, you can proc your Electrocute a lot throughout this lane. So it's just a lot better and does a lot more damage than taking Aerial Comet. But if in other matchups where you're versing someone who's similar range and it's going to be more about just poking with your Q, then I highly recommend Comet. And I really like going Time Warp, Tonic, Secondary with Biscuits because, again, I feel like this lane is actually quite a heavy trading matchup because Fizz is going to have to E onto you quite a lot and you're going to have to be spamming a lot of abilities. So starting with Corrupting Pot and going that Time Warp, Tonic, and Biscuit Secondary, it really allows you to push a lead in this matchup. And I also like going Ignite because you really need to go for kills and play super aggressive. So, the first objective that you want to do in this game is you want to slow build a wave into the Fizz and poke him under tower. So in order to do that, before we get to that, you need to assess the jungle matchup. So in this game, I have Nidalee jungle, they have Graves. So the two things you need to note is their kill threat on you early. Graves level 2, level 3 ganks are really, really poor. So if I just lean to one side, I'll be completely fine. And you need to know where they start so you can lean appropriately. So in this game, I know that Graves ends up starting blue, so I can just lean onto the bot side of the lane. And you'll see me kind of do that in the first portion of this laning phase. So, first of all, again, you don't really want to be hitting the minions too much, like super early, because you want to be building a slow push, not a fast push. And the reason a slow push is because the wave will be bigger and bigger. So straight away here, something you want to do is if Fizz chooses to E on you early, you can always punish him by auto-attacking him on the way out of the trade. Even if you miss your Q, if you just Q on the back end and auto him 2 or 3 times, you're going to proc your Electrocute, you just get a lot of damage off. So making sure that you're utilizing your auto-attacks like I'm doing so far, and looking to constantly poke with Q. And this is a mistake I see a lot of Fizzers do, is they try to contest too much level 1 here and burn a lot of their HP in Corrupting Pots, which gives you a huge resource advantage. But again, what I'm doing here is just constantly auto-attacking, not too much, but just creating a slow push. And as you can see here, I hit level 2 before him, and I'm starting to build a minion advantage. So again, when you're level 2 advantage, you can walk up a little bit, but then he gets level 2, so you just got to respect. And if he goes on you like this, you can just continue to auto and throw as many Qs as you can without missing too much CS. So if we look already, Fizz is on 1 CS, I'm on 7. And this is actually a pro Fizz. He's a pro player, so it's definitely something to note. So again, nothing too fancy so far, just looking to slow push. Auto-attacking whenever I can, looking to Q when he goes up for specific creeps. So whenever he goes up to go for creeps, you can look to get a Q or auto-attack off. But you don't want to sacrifice too many minions by doing that. You constantly want to make sure that you're auto-attacking, last hitting your minions. And notice here how big this wave is getting. And this is the advantage of a slow push. And this, sadly missed that cannon. But look at this. Now this gives me so much time to poke on the tower. And it makes it very difficult for Fizz to look to all in you. Because he's going to take a lot of damage from minions here. So notice I'm just walking up. I'm auto-attacking. I'm leaning heavy to the bot side of the lane. Because I know that Graves is started blue. And these sort of trades, I know he can't win them. So again, I'm constantly auto-attacking, queuing, hold my E to the end after he uses his E, and then he's forced to flash here. And the beauty about this is he's missed a lot of creeps because he chose to all-in me rather than go for creeps. Because he didn't want to just continually get poked on the tower. He's got no Corrupting Pots, and I've got one ticking just started now, and I still got a whole nother Corrupting Pot. And look at this. Graves comes to help Fizz push out, and I'm just completely safe. I've still got my flash, and I can just go back around here. And what this is doing is simultaneously two things. Graves is showing on the map right now. So this relieves pressure all throughout the map. Secondly, by Graves showing here, my jungle should get an information lead. He can see his creeps, see how many camps he's gotten, and he can also see what buffs he's gotten, where he came from in the lane. He's also going to get a lot of information, and this should allow him to get tempo on the enemy jungler. And then actually, thirdly, one other point here is that he's actually sharing XP with the Fizz. here. So even if they shove this out together, Fizz is actually kind of losing out here. And the beauty of this is that in low elos, this will very rarely happen. Fizz will just kind of get screwed over. The jungle won't come. He was like, oh, he's too low. I can't come. This is just because this is a very high elo game, and these are pro players and pro coaches, so they really know what to do. So in your games, if you kind of did what I did in this first portion of the lane, you're going to be so far ahead. And even now, I'm super far ahead. After these creeps, I end up getting 12 CS up in the lead, and I'm up a hell of a lot of XP because he's shared so much XP. So I catch that wave, and because it's a cannon, I don't need to overstay for this next wave. I know I'm not going to be able to shove it in, and I base and I look for my boots and dark seal. And the reason I go boots is because sometimes, especially on skill shot oriented champions, I like boots to be able to tether. It allows me to tether, go in and out of their range, and also hit skill shots a lot easier. And the dark seal is just for added lane pressure, since it's all about the lane. So people always ask, okay, what do you do when you come back to lane right now? So this is absolutely crucial. So a few things I'm thinking about. Graves shows he hasn't reset. My jungler's actually reset, but again, he's quite far behind the enemy jungler. He's level 3 and Graves is nearly level 5. So he's not going to be active anytime soon. I know my jungle, because he failed a gank early game, he's just going to be looking to farm for a while, and he's a level 3 Nidalee. So right now, I can't really build a wave and punish this Fizz, can I? Because my jungler's not going to be able to back me up, since Graves is so far ahead over Nidalee. So what do you do instead if you can't slow build a wave and poke on a tower? Well, what you want to do is keep it in a position where Fizz has to choose eating the wave or eating me. So by keeping it in the middle / slightly on my side, it's very difficult for Fizz to be able to get damage on me, and I can just slowly poke him out. So my intention here is thin the wave a little bit, make sure he can't crash this into tower, and just hold it outside my tower. So this is going to buy a lot of time for my jungler just to farm up. And notice here how I'm kind of keeping it here for a little bit. And if you do this, you need to make sure that you stay on top of your pings, just to see if Fizz chooses to roam. And the beauty of having it in this position also is that I can actually choose to, Fizz can't actually see us very well at all because he's a melee champion. And this works against all other melee champions. In this specific lane position, when you're not looking to build waves and push and dive because your jungler's not going to be in position and he's not going to have pressure, then you have to adapt. And this on it ties into that whole adaptation video that I've done, is adapting your game plan. And look at this. Fizz really can't trade onto me. It's so hard for him. Now I can actually start walking past the wave and looking to trade aggressively as well. And this is what Boots is going to help me do, is like tether that Q range. Like this. Look at this. And when he goes in and E's, I can just auto, Q, auto. I'm constantly auto attacking. And this is how you also, huge tip for abusing these melee matchups is making sure you utilize your auto attack, because you have obvious range advantage, right? So next, my Nidalee just base. He's got his Skirmisher Saber. Doesn't have his Runic Echoes yet, but he's coming out of the map. That's definitely something I'm constantly thinking about at the moment. And there's no need for me to hard push this. If I were to just hard push this in, what is that going to achieve? Fizz is going to be able to catch it under the tower. My jungler's not going to be here to back me up, and I could probably just die, because he's probably going to hit 6 soon. Also, something I'm also thinking is that I know I have an XP advantage over this Fizz, even though the CS is kind of equal in a way, because he shared a lot of that XP with Graves. So I know the distance. I can vaguely know when he will hit 6, but it'll be way after me. So I know that if once I hit 6, it's probably going to be a significant amount of minions after me. And now I'm slow pushing, and before pushing this out, because I don't have any vision, I'd choose to get a ward down so I can actually completely shove this out here. Because I know my jungler's not ready to back me up. He's full clearing again. And given this situation, knowing that I can't poke Fizz under tower, I just choose to push and just recall. And you may ask, why don't you choose to poke Fizz under tower here? He's not going to be level 6 for a while. You've hit level 6, you've got all summoners. No, this is really risky for me, because my jungler is still full clearing because he's really far behind. Their top's missing, who's actually a top Twisted Fate, who's nearly 6 as well. And I know that he's going to hit 6 soon, and I could easily get ganked by Graves. So I'm thinking about this on behalf of my jungler. I'm making his job easier by not giving Graves these ganks. So I'm quite far up in CS right now. I have a really good tempo base at the moment. And when you can't afford Lost Chapter, going Sorks is equally fine because again, it allows you to tether him in these skill shot oriented matchups. It's going to give you a huge advantage. And now knowing that he overstayed for this next wave, I'm going to have tempo on him, which means I can choose to do something. I can look to roam and a fight breaks out and I'm able to pick up a kill on the back end, knowing that Fizz can't react to this fight. So, next. Okay, so what is my jungler doing? Is he looking to invade off this? Is he looking to do something? No, he's looking to go back into his jungle. So, what should I be doing? Why would I hard push this wave? I shouldn't hard push this wave, right? Because it's not going to lead to anything. If I hard push this wave, my jungler's not going to be able to back me up. I can't Pokemon to tower with just a fast push because there's not going to be enough minions. Fizz is going to come back. It's just going to be, there's no point. So what I should do is just last hit. And the benefit of just last hitting here is that, this is going to buy time to wait for my jungler till he's in position. It's also going to make it hard for Fizz to all-in me because I'm not deep in the lane. And then also, if Fizz chooses to ignore the CS completely, I'm going to be able to slow build a wave. So it's always better to kind of just be patient at the moment. So then I see my Blitzcrank coming around, so I'm actually trying to bait him in a little bit here. And he Q's on me, and Blitzcrank's able to come here, wait for his E, and we end up getting a nice little kill on the back end of this with my Q auto ignite. And notice how much I auto attack compared to a lot of other Syndras. You just see this a lot, and it just shows how important auto attacking is. And now I really wanted to get this wave in to deny this next incoming wave against Fizz. So what do I want to do? I want to shove, but then Twisted Fate ends up coming. So I use my Corrupting Pot and my Biscuits at the same time to heal. And we're able to get a kill on the Twisted Fate here. And I get to reset. So again, there's nothing special going on here. It's just constantly, the constant things I'm thinking about is my wave, what I want to do with my wave every time. And how I decide what I want to do with my wave is a combination of an assessment of the enemy's threats on me, and assessment of my teammates' locations. That's all I'm thinking about. And especially in these matchups where you're playing range into an assassin, those two things are so crucial. If you don't assess the enemy jungler's threat on you and the enemy laner's threat on you, you're just going to get yourself into an awkward position because that dictates what you can do with the wave. And then also, if your teammates are in base or they're full clearing a jungle or something like that, that's also going to completely dictate what you can do with your wave. And this is a perfect game and perfect example of me just really, really thinking hard about what I want to do with my wave given that information. Notice how I'm spam pinging, thinking that Fizz was going to go bot. This is also another really good tip when you verse assassins, that a lot of the time they're going to sacrifice minions to go for a roam. He chooses not to here, but in a lot of situations he would. And again here, the laning phase is coming to a draw, coming to halt soon. I'm lost chapter. I'm so fed. And again, my jungler's just farming here. I don't really have much vision or on Graves around here at the moment, so keeping it in this position and just constantly auto attacking, keeping it in this position makes it so hard for Fizz to kill me in a long lane. And because my jungler was not in a position and he's not playing aggressively at all, wants to recall, I have to play appropriately. And look, if I would have pushed out there, I probably would have died because Graves was actually sitting right here. And again, that's just off pure assessment of where my teammates were. And so I'm able to put a defensive pink down. In the meantime, clear that Raptor that the enemy counter jungled. And I'm constantly trying to keep it in a position where I can't get all in a long lane or choose to build waves when my jungler is ready to back me up. TF tries to come down with Predator to gank me, but it doesn't work out too well. And now look, now my jungler's looking to play a little aggressive, so I can back him up in these fights. I end up missing my E because he gets out with his ultimate, but he dies anyway. And now look at this. It's so hard for Fizz to do anything when the wave's in this position. And this is just me constantly thinking, I'm only doing one or two things with the wave. I'm slow building and making it I'm slow building and Pokemon the tower, or I'm keeping in this position, making it hard for him to all in me in the lane. And he ends up just escaping because I end up getting minion blocked. But again, this is another opportunity for me to deny him more CS and get a solid base off for my blasting wand. And at the moment, I'm up, a lot of gold. I'm 4,200 or nearly 4,300, and he's only 2,800. And in terms of XP here, if I can hover over it, he's just hit level 8, and I am halfway through level 9 nearly. So I'm very far ahead in XP as well. So the last thing I want to talk about in this VOD, which is so important, and it's a super common mistake, and I even do it myself this game, is knowing, again, sticking with your identity of your champion and playing to their strengths. So, what do we see? Again, just because I've built full damage and no defense, I have to play that way. And what are Fizz's strengths? Well, he's really good at roaming in river and these river skirmishes. And the reason why is that if he lands a fish on you, he has so much time and so much room to be able to chase you down and kill you. And here, I was getting quite cocky because I thought I was quite ahead. And rather than just backing up back to my lane where Fizz has no counterplay, I choose to fight him in the river here. And notice how this doesn't achieve anything. My bot lane are getting bot tower. They've made a play. My top lane's doing his own thing. Me giving Fizz the fight here, and he knows it's pure 1v1 because he sees Nidalee on bot tower. This is exactly what Fizz wants. And I actually just get 100 to 0'd right now. And this is a very common mistake you see. Mages versus any, assassin is once it gets to this point in the game where it's transitioning out of the laning phase and you know you have a lead, they kind of get cocky, they get sloppy, they get complacent, and they forget that these sorts of things and playing to their strength is so important. And all it takes is one kill on Fizz to snowball and get out of control. So, just to summarize a few of the key concepts this game, and especially if you're playing this matchup in your own games, what I want to see is I want to see intention with every single wave because, again, if you really want to abuse these melee matchups, you need to have intention with every wave. And how do you know what your intention is with the wave? Well, again, you need to assess the assessment of the enemy threats, and like both the mid laner and the jungle and the threat they have on you. You need to assess your teammates' location, what they're planning to do in terms of their path, their health, their resource levels, when they're basing, etc. And then you also need to plan around, okay, when am I stronger? When am I spiked? When do I want to reset? Using all this information to decide, do you want to slow push? Do you want to keep it in the middle lane? Do you want to keep it towards you? And it's quite self-explanatory once you get into the game. And use this lane and how I thought I kind of did approach this lane to kind of give you a bit of a thought process. But again, these are the same concepts I'm pumping through all my videos. And over time, if you keep watching my videos, it will start to make a lot of sense. So cheers, thanks for watching, and stay tuned.